a lot of people, when I talk about emotional intelligence, I would say the number one issue that everyday people key in on is how do I manage my emotional states? And we certainly understand it's a very difficult world out there, and we're all subject to stress. And what certain disciplines in emotional intelligence, what they allow you to do is go from simply the stimuli response mode, like Pavlov's dog. Here's the stimuli, I'm going to respond this way. To stop and think and be mindful and have the opportunity to make choices. That's the number one step. If we're in automatic mode, which most of us are most of the time, then when we get stressed, we go into stress mode. We go into anxiety mode. And right away, we know we have learned those behaviors really well. We know how to be stressed. We know how to really get ourselves into a hyper place. But if you train your brain, and you can train your brain has plasticity even at older ages, and you can change the way your brain works, and you can change your behavior. So the number one thing, the first thing you want to do is stop and recognize, I'm stressed. I'm in stress mode. Now I can make some choices. Right away, that's a change. So what are the choices I want to make? Well, for me, and probably for you, or maybe something you never thought of, I'd like to get out of this state. I don't want to stay here, because if I stay here, the longer I stay here, the worse it's going to get. So I want to get out of stress mode. I can't force myself out of it, but I can do certain things that might help me get out of it. The first thing I can do is I can ask myself some good questions, because our brain works off of questions. Once a question goes into our brain that we care about, our brain will be working in the background. It'll be working in its other than conscious state to fill in answers. And so if I ask myself, wow, I wonder how good it would feel to not be stressed. I wonder how good I could feel. I wonder how soon I could feel good again. That's a great question. I wonder how soon I could feel good again. And you just leave that alone. You're not trying to answer that analytically. You just leave that alone and you ask it with some caring. And your brain is going to go out and it's going to start searching. How good would it be to feel good again? And how soon can I do it? And your brain will learn to go out and try to find the things and make the biochemical changes to start to make you feel good. Now, it's not going to happen instantaneously. But what I'm telling you is that you will feel good in a much shorter time frame than if you had done nothing. If you had done nothing, you probably would have gone further and further into stress mode. Here, you've pointed your brain in a different direction. What's more is that as your brain learns to do this, learns to stop, ask the right questions, and ask good questions, it will be better. Your brain will be better and better at providing the good answers, at finding the good biochemical releases, and bringing you to a good emotional state sooner and sooner, because your brain learns how to do this, and you become better and better. Other things you can do is you can change your environment. So if you're in your office or you're in your bedroom and you become stressed, you just got off the phone with a family member who just stressed you out. We all know our family members can push our buttons. So, and first of all, again, recognize you've been stressed. That's so key, because that breaks right away. You're breaking the automatic stimuli response pattern. You've stopped and you've recognized something. Then get out of that environment. take a walk. The physical motion will change the way you feel. If you take a brisk walk and you start to release some endorphins, or you run, that will help. Certainly, if you're in a highly stressed mode, then exercise is tremendous. Because when you're in a highly stressed mode, you're in fight or flight. It's called fight or flight, but it's really fight, flight, or freeze. Because a lot of people freeze when they're in that modality. So when you're highly stressed, when you're in that fear, when you're in that fight, flight, or freeze mode, your heart is pumping. You're pumping out cortisol. You're pumping out adrenaline. You're literally, your body has been created by nature to be ready to go into battle. But there's no battle to go into. So if you can go and run on a treadmill or run outside, being outside is great. If you can lift some weights, if you can do some exercise, you're releasing all of those stress hormones. You're releasing that load, that biochemical load that just came on. And you're also releasing good chemicals, the endorphins, that's going to help you to feel good again. So if you're in a highly stressed mode, that's wonderful to do. But you have to do, the very first thing is to recognize you're in a stressed mode. I'm here. Of course, one of the first rules of emotional states that I teach is to recognize that emotional states are transient. You're not there forever. You haven't been captured forever. It will pass. So, when you recognize that, that's a comfort to it. Because sometimes we get trapped in those emotional states. And we think, and it's as if we believe that that's it. We're there. We'll never escape. We will escape. And the sooner you realize that will leave, the better off you'll be, and the more relaxed you can feel about it. Now, we all have great emotional states too, and aren't those good? I mean, we love to feel good, and it's wonderful to feel good. Sometimes we feel just a little too good. And when that happens, then, you also have to recognize this is a transient emotional state. You're not going to feel that good forever. Because just as in the stress mode, people do start to believe that, wow, now I'm feeling good. I'm going to feel like this. So this is the way it's going to be. No. It's not going to be like that. And the sooner you recognize that, the better too. Enjoy it. Enjoy this great, feeling that you're having. But recognize that, that too is transient. And it's going to be over at some point. And that's okay. That's part of life. The thing to be especially cautious of when you're in a really good mode, really good mood, is the decisions you make. Because if you're suddenly feeling like, wow, everything's going to be great from here on out, and I'm so good, I'm the best, suddenly you can overcommit. You can make some very audacious decisions that may be a step too far, a bridge too far. And you may wake up the next morning and say, oh my gosh, what have I done? So there's less caution about good states. We love to feel good, but there's still caution about good states. You still want to be careful about them.